This is chapter 46 in Beyond Exile. It's called Ulrike, and we are in Milan. And Frank flew from San Francisco to Milan looking for Letizia. And he found her, and she would have no parts of him. So he did finish and get his doctorate at Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, but here he is in Italy, and probably a little heartbroken, and I guess he's kicking around Italy again. Here we are. We're the game player. We are Frank, actually. We have our wallet and a King George penny still, which we acquired from the pawn shop in Gardena a few chapters back. We're in the sultry Piazza Cavour, where Letizia's loft used to be. And if we go west, it takes us back to the Piazza Repubblica, where she was working for an advertising magazine, and the Confetti Flowers store where we saw her before. So we're looking for something to do in Italy now. So we go back to central Milan, and we can go any direction. Let's go south. The Berlitz Language Center. Nothing happening there. He's just kind of wandering around Milan looking for something to do. And then the railway station, nothing happening there. Gallery Manuel. Restaurant Brara. In exile, a new city or an old city within range is another chance at romance and rest. A chessboard wiped clean of the deciding blunder. A fresh and mysterious harbor after shipwreck. Yeah, well, Frank's ship pretty much did wreck. Still just meandering around Milan looking for something to do. And he goes to the railway station. Frank doesn't want to meet his replacement by accident or design, so he takes the overnight train to Cologne. There's the ticket office, we look there. Maybe it's time to catch up with an old friend and buy a ticket to Cologne. Alright, so there's the Cologne train ticket, only trip to Cologne. And then we bought that ticket, and let's see, here's a character named Dominic. Friendly Uncle Dom collects tickets for the train. Alright, ticket to Uncle Dom. And we're on the train from Milan, and I think we're going to, last time we drove that black Mercedes to Cologne. Here we took the train. By the way, this train station is where we arrived from Heidelberg, back in the chapter called The Logic of German Girls. Puts us in scene 148, the central train station in Köln Hauptbahnhof. I don't know. Scene 148. Pretty though. Pretty photo. He applauds the German system when the train arrives perfectly at 9. So he's just arrived on the train in Cologne, and apparently he's looking for his old buddy Toby, who his cribbage partner. I'm going to have to conclude his only friend here. This is where he met Letizia, not Letizia. This is where he met Gertrude, but they had a falling out as well. So we'll see how this plays out. If you go west, it puts us into scene 158, the Colonus radio station and tower. Nothing happening there. You go north, scene 161, the headquarters of Ford Europe, making Mavericks and Torinos, I guess. Scene 142, the Studious America House. Nothing happening there. And then scene 143, the Greek Tavern. This is where he met. That's where he met Gertrude the first time. This dojo known as Bushido 144, and she owns that. seaside borough of Poors. That's where she decided that she wanted to go on a world tour with him as her eye candy, as Frank was her arm candy. We go south to scene 145, Gertrude's studio. Oh yeah, the Polaroids are still there. Of Swansea. Yeah, that's right. It appears there's nothing happening on that part of Cologne right now. He's looking for Toby and nothing's happening. That puts us in the city of Cologne proper, crossing the bridge over the Rhine when you go south. That takes us to scene 147, a road known as Komödienstrasse, and this is the road he took from Heidelberg to get into Cologne. And then south again is where we started, the train station. So that took us in a loop. So we'll go back, Komödienstrasse, back to Cologne, and let's see, we went west. We haven't gone east and north yet. The Agnes Viertel, that's where he played cribbage. Let's look for him here. That's the patio seating. You see Ehrman still works here. He's the walrus waiter who assisted Toby and rescuing Frank from his circulation collapse with a sugar ball earlier in the story, A Gentle Rocking Motion. You go to the cribbage room. There's nothing there. There's the cribbage board. We don't see Toby yet. Well, let's head back to Cologne. We haven't gone north yet. And that puts us into scene number 149. And that's Toby's residence at Chorweiler. Toby's renting a room from a classical homeopath specializing in Bach flower remedies. And this is we see Toby. You look at him. He's teaching English at Ford Europe. He's in charge of the TOEFL tests at America House. He's happy as a clam. And then after seeing him, the two are now in inventory. So now these two guys are together and they're like walking around Germany together, walking around Cologne together. So let's walk to the cribbage room. See if that's what's going on. Our cribbage friends. Yep, they're playing cribbage at the zoo cafeteria, watching tugboats drag the Rhine. So we'll go to the cribbage table. And the two are in a game of cribbage again. Hopefully Frank won't collapse this time. You are Frank. And so we see our friend Toby here in the cribbage. Let's look at him again. He looks at his friend. Let's speak to him. See what's up. And he talks to Toby, and Toby says to Frank, "So what do you want to know?" And Frank can say, "What happened to your girlfriend? What happened to Gertrude? Any news from back home? What happened to your girlfriend?" Steffi went back to her husband. What happened to Gertrude? Gertrude lost her fortune in the Deutsche Bank crash. Oh, wonderful. Any news from back home? They torched Rosenwald in White Plains. Interesting. Well, it's a good thing Frank got his money from Rosenwald. Anything else? Good to have you back, Frank. It's probably all for the best. There's a party tonight at Jurgen's. Alright. Let's see here. And the two are in the inventory, so that means they're walking around and they're done with cribbage, and we'll follow them around and go west. Agnes Viertel. Let's go back to Toby's room. Toby's residence. And you see that here in his residence, there's a guitar and a harmonica. Sounds like these two guys. A Martin acoustic guitar. Toby's been practicing. Oh, so he's the guitar player. Let's take the guitar. And there's a harmonica. It is actually a Hohner blues harp. Frank is a little rusty. Alright, so Frank's the harmonica player. Sounds like fun. You pick it up. And so let's play a little music here, see if this will work out. You take the guitar onto Toby. It says, could probably use new strings, but we'll do for now. Do the harmonica on Frank. And Frank is definitely a little rusty. Well, anything else? Yeah, and can they switch instruments? Not really. Well, they're playing with music with each other here, and they can go north and leave and take their instruments with them and go north. And that takes us into scene 150, the New Market district in Cologne. They wander downtown with their instruments, play a few tunes on the Schildergasse. Alright, let's play a few tunes on the Schildergasse. Guitar on Toby. Harmonica on Frank. Let's go east. Scene 151, the shopping plaza at Schildergasse. There's some tourists. A small group of Norwegians in town for carnival. Let's speak to them. And then you can go east again to scene 152. And you see gift shops along Hostrasse. This is like a shopping area. Or that's a shopping area at Schildergasse. This is like an evening. More gift shops along the way. In Cologne. We can go south from here to scene 153, and that takes us to the LD house. The LD house, the former home of the Gestapo in Cologne. It's quite a historic little jaunt we're on, learning about Germany and Cologne and Carnival and so forth. But it kind of dead ends right there. We can go back. The small group of Norwegian tourists. Let's try playing our instruments for the tourists. So we take the harmonica to Frank, and it says the tourists turn to hear the crazy harp blower. Now let's use the guitar on Toby. The tourists turn to hear the folk guitar player. And then we see, now we have gypsies in the crowd as well. Toby banging his old Martin guitar, Frank playing everything in C on his rusty Hohner blues harp. Some gypsies here. They pick up 100 marks and give them to the gypsies, huddled baby blankets on the stoops. And any more interaction with them? There's no more interaction. Play some more, perhaps. Let's go here again. We go back to LD house, and we can go further now. Apparently, these two needed to collect some marks to get some cash on them as they're heading for Jürgen's party. Still, we can go southeast, and that puts us in scene 154, which is Jürgen's estate, like an old castle. It's German hip, pretzels and dip, refrigerator full of Kolsch, schnapps, people winding up the ornate stairs, drifting through the tidy rooms. And here's some characters. There's Hans. Ulrike's there with Hans, a German radical living in Belfast, telling dank secrets of the IRA. She works at Deutsche Welle. She's their contact with the U.S. Information Agency. She's a mole for the Bader Meinhof gang. And now we are Frank. He's in the room looking at his friend Toby and these two new people, Hans and Ulrike. He looks at Hans. He looks at Ulrike. And she says to Frank, whispers to Frank, Hans is not my boyfriend. Frank responds, is that so? Or I was hoping you would say that. No. Of course, remember this one. I was hoping you would say that. Frank, these German men truly bore me. And his response, I think, is this a trick, or are these parties bore me? Well, we've yet to consider that Frank is smart enough to figure this crap out, so let's just go with the party line here. These parties bore me. And she says to Frank, let's get out of here. And he goes, no, I want to stay here with Toby. Or I'm following you. Well, he's pretty much established his reputation of chasing every skirt he sees. So Frank is saying, I'm following you, and when we do that, the other guys roll out somewhere. We see that Frank and Ulrike are together, walking together. And from Jurgens, we can go two directions. We can go back to LD House, but we can also go here, southeast. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's LD House. And we can go southwest, and that puts us into scene number 155, the Cone Triangle Tower. There's nothing here of happening, but we can go southwest again. And there is the most gorgeous Kölner Dome, scene number 156. From here, takes us back, we can go north to scene 157, Ulrike's apartment. This is pretty good. I think this is where we want to be. Her apartment overlooks a train switching yard. Her vagina smells of freshly mown grass, sometimes vanilla, sometimes a hint of apricot. And you can look at the feather bed. A night of passion, where crimes are quiet, then morning comes. So it's the next day. And it looks like Frank is gotten over Letitia. And he's in pretty good hands. You are Frank. And this puts us in a scene 157, Ulrike's apartment. You know, I'm actually going to pause the game right now because this is kind of taking a long time. And we'll pick this up in a new video. Split this chapter up since it's getting kind of long. This is the first part of chapter 46, Ulrike. Thank you for watching, and I hope you continue the second part of the chapter.
No, I don't smoke with the Asians, I know.